Jones Dairy Farm is a seventh-generation family-owned and operated company located in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. For more than 135 years, Jones has been using real, natural ingredients, original recipes, and time-honored traditions to create distinctive and timeless products. Jones is known for producing premium, all-natural breakfast sausage, naturally smoked hams and Canadian bacon, all-natural meatballs, and dry-aged bacon. All certified gluten-free. Est-ce que tu aimes le français? Do you love French? Do you want to learn French? Well, the Alliance Française of Milwaukee has been connecting folks through French language classes, francophone events, and travel for over 100 years. They're enrolling for their winter session, which runs January 6th through March 24th, 2025. So register now at afmilwaukee.org. Most of their classes are available on Zoom, including group classes for adults and private lessons tailor-made to your needs and goals. And there's a special offer for total beginners. French 101 is only $275. That's $100 off their regular price. Register before January 2nd to also take advantage of their early bird discount of $30 adult group courses. À tout à l'heure. Today on CityCast Madison. Season screenings, friends. Are you one of those people or in one of those families who head to the movies for the holidays? Well, there's been a number of changes in where you can actually go to see a film in Madison. And the overarching culture around moviegoing is a little bit different these days. No one knows that better than our own resident film critic, our Madison Minutes newsletter editor, Rob Thomas. Rob's been covering the film beat in our city for over 25 years, so we asked him what's changed about our movie theater scene and about his top movie recommendations for the holidays. It's Monday, December 16th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Hey, Rob.
How's it going, Bianca? Thanks for having me, I guess, even though I work here. But yeah, this feels different somehow. Yeah.
Yes, we are turning the tables. Of course, you're on with us always for the Friday News Roundup. But now we're bringing you on for your own episode because you are a movie buff. You have written about movies in Madison for years, and so we wanted to touch base with you because you are our most trusted source.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, of course, before you were an official part of CityCast Madison, as you know, of course, if you don't know Rob, he writes our Madison Minutes newsletter. Rob, you joined us exactly 2 years ago to talk about the state of Madison's movie theater scene.
That's right. I did. Yeah.
I listened back and I was like, oh my God, I sound like such a baby.
We sound so young in 2022.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a super exciting conversation for me because I too am a filmy and just love being in the theater. And back in 2022, things looked a lot less pearly for the movie theater. And now, as I sit before you today, having seen Wicked twice in the past 2 weeks to fully packed theaters, I literally basically had to park on the grass.
Wow.
We want to check it. I mean, there was a spot, but it was so far away from the entrance. We want to check it, for those of us who go to the movies in the holiday times, how is the movie theater scene doing? But last time we talked to you, a couple local giants in the theater scene had closed in town. The AMC 6 was most recent. And then before that, the Marcus Square Theater. So that was 2 years out of the pandemic. What does the scene look like now? Where can folks go in Madison? And we're not talking burbs.
That's the trick, right? Because there's plenty of movie theaters in the suburbs and right on the border, like Marcus Point. But officially, Madison's movie scene is, there's no theaters. When I started here, I came to Madison 25 years ago, there was the Orpheum was showing movies. The Majestic was showing movies. There's University Square 4 where the Lucky Apartments were. There was Westgate. There was Hilldale, which became AMC Madison 6, and they're all gone. And Market Square, like you said. So it's so strange to me because I think of Madison as such a big movie town. We have a great Wisconsin Film Festival. We have the university has this communication arts program, which is like one of the best in the country, and it, produces all these great filmmakers and scholars. But like on an average night, if you want to go see a movie, more or less, you got to go get in the car and go out to Fitchburg or Verona or
Sun Prairie.
Sun Prairie. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally, it's like, okay, we got to pack up, we got to plan, we got to get over there, we've got to budget enough time. Of course, the trailers are 22 minutes in and of themselves, but I like the trailers.
I budget that in. I'm not. Yeah, right.
You're not crazy.
No, I like to miss the commercials, but hit the trailers, if that makes sense. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because we want to know what's coming up. So, yeah, like you said, like Madison had a ton of theaters and like some historic ones dating back to the early like 1900s, thinking of the Orpheum Theater downtown, the Majestic Theater. I do want to, just for a refresher, what's happened to Madison theaters? Like, why have so many closed?
Well, I think it's both a universal thing with movie theaters, especially during the pandemic. People weren't going out to movies and they were struggling to get people back. And then it's a situation is very focused on Madison, which is there's just so much housing coming in, and it's more profitable to build an apartment complex than a movie theater. Like you can build an apartment complex or condos, put a restaurant on the first floor. You can't put a movie theater on the first floor of an apartment building. So I think that's a big issue as well, that when a lot of this new development's coming in, they're not thinking of movie theaters. And what happened at Hilldale was they put in several new stores instead of where the theater was.
I had not thought about that. We just don't have the space on the Isthmus.
I guess so, yeah. But the funny thing is, like, the audience is still there. And I think as people are moving into town, they still want to have that sense of community. I mean, that's what CityCast Madison is all about, right? Is bringing people together. And there's still really nothing like everybody going to see a movie together. I mean, a concert is kind of like that, but there's something about watching something together, laughing, cheering, whatever. And the thing is, like, people do show up when those opportunities present themselves. Like, there's the UW Cinematheque on campus, which shows free movies. And, they get a good crowd in that theater for, like, crowd pleasers and really adventurous movies and really old movies, because people just like to see them together. And the Barrymore, I'm noticing, is starting to book a lot more movies for like one night only showings. Like a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you've heard this movie, Hundreds of Beavers.
I heard about it from you. And
right, probably from me because I'm such a fan. But it was this movie shot by some Wisconsin filmmakers and their friends in northern Wisconsin in the woods for like $150,000. It's become this big sort of indie hit. And they showed it at the Barrymore for a one night only screening. Like 600, 700 people were there. I mean, that's more than a lot of concerts at the Barrymore, to be honest with you. And it was fantastic. It was a comedy like that with so many people, it's just the best. I mean, watching at home on streaming just can't touch that kind of experience. So I think people do value it. They've just got to like find places to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask, if you felt like we've bounced back. I really, I'm chewing on the fact that all out in the suburbs, there probably is more space to develop a huge theater with the ultra screens and all of that sort of thing. One of the ones in town that I've gone to is the Flicks Brewhouse. Right. Yeah, and that one is in a mall, which of course mall space. They're like, what do we do with all of this empty space? Put it in a theater. That's a great movie. I went and saw it Inside and Out. And going with other people, like I had a friend invite me recently to The Wild Robot.
Oh yeah.
And it was with both of their siblings and all of their kids. And we literally took up like 12 people in a row. And it was so beautiful and full of families. And, it was a really, really warming experience. I was like, God, baby, we're going to make it. Look at all these people together.
Yeah, I think since we last talked in 2022, I think people have really rediscovered movies, at least certain movies. Like there was the Barbenheimer thing. The summer 2023, when everybody came out, it became this huge thing. As you well know, Wicked has become that sort of thing where people are going to see it again and again. There are packed screenings and people are just like, I saw they're going to have sing-along screenings of Wicked soon. I got news for you. Every screening of Wicked is a sing-along screening because, people sing along and it's just really an event. And I think that's kind of the movie-going experience at its best. So it's really gratifying, I think, even though movie theaters have trouble and some people have not come all the way back and streaming is still a big thing. I think that experience is still valuable for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm scheduled to go see Wicked for a third time today. So
Schedule. Okay.
I have to schedule it.
It's like an appointment.
Adult.
Okay, yeah.
It's appointment watching for me.
It's your regular Wicked booster. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing is I'm literally looking at all of the different screenings and they really are all mostly out in the suburbs. But I want to go see the IMAX or the Ultra screen, which that's something I don't think any of Flick's Brewhouse has. I think that's something you do have to plan to drive somewhere else.
Yeah, and Flick's has the dine-in, get food and beer at your seat kind of thing, which is another way of just enjoying being out as opposed to being on screenings or being at home watching on streaming. And then another thing I've noticed is like older movies are becoming really popular when they come back in theaters. Like we're in December, I saw It's a Wonderful Life a couple weeks ago. Elf is playing again. All kinds of Christmas movies. People like to come back together and watch their favorite movies again. And that makes it an event because when you go, you're going to be in a movie theater full of people who also really love this movie.
Yes.
So it becomes a communal experience again.
Yes. Whenever I see a Space Odyssey 2001 playing in theaters, I'm like, let's
you
go.
got you. Yeah. You got to see it. Yeah.
Juicy, flavorful, and easy. That's what you'll get with Jones Dairy Farm all-natural pork sausage. Their breakfast sausage is so unbelievably good, you'll need to stock up your freezer. Available in both links and patties, and even bulk bags that can be found at your Costco in their no antibiotics ever variety. It's free from top 9 allergens, preservatives, nitrates, and additives. They're fully cooked, making feeding you or your family easy and delicious. And now they're available in resealable bags. Jones, making breakfast better since 1889.
This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
I want to talk to you about holiday movies, but I would want to talk a little bit more about these trends because you mentioned you can have a full meal at Flick's Brewhouse,
right?
Which I actually did order. I ordered cheese curds and water, and I left. I was like, I just paid for myself. And it was $30, which so it's that's how they're making their money, though.
Very
I
much.
think,
yeah.
But it does seem like one of the larger trends too, to just have this decked out living room experience with recliner chairs. Some theaters are moving towards heated chairs, but it really feels like that's a different offering that maybe, I don't know. Do you think it has any part in people being like, okay, I guess that's not that bad. These seats are awesome.
I think the recliners are big. Like my wife will not go to the Fitchburg theater because the IMAX theater because it doesn't have recliners. So some people love it. And
so people have adapted.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. I think there's just kind of different experiences. There's some of these theaters are fairly small and have these big spacious seats where I see people come in with blankets now, and they even sell blankets where you could just sort of cozy up, and other people want to be on the edge of their seat with the big group, right? I know, it's crazy. You can't imagine even 5 years ago,
yeah.
But that's what they got to do. Movie theaters got to, figure out what people want and give it to them. So
yeah, I mean, I was sitting my second time watching Wicked, I went by myself, and I was sitting next to a mom and her daughter, both adults, and I was in the like shared seat with the mom.
Yeah,
and we're
that's
both
awkward.
reclined out. I mean, you get used to it. It's 3 hours, but it is sort of like we are very cozy.
This is a community experience in more ways than one. Yeah, we're almost snuggling at this point. So yeah,
well, basically. But it seems like the drive really is community, what we're seeing for folks wanting to go in Madison out to the theaters. I do want to ask about your favorite spots to see a movie today. Like, you are someone who sees, I don't know, like how many movies you'd say you see a year, but you know.
I probably see a couple a week. Like I have a Substack called Not That Rob Thomas where I write movie reviews. I probably see a couple a week. So it's not that much.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a ton.
Okay.
But yeah, so I am curious, what are your favorite spots to see a movie?
Well, I like Flick Brewhouse a lot. I kind of like that size of theater for like sort of your regular run-of-the-mill movie. It's just a great projection. The seats are comfortable. You don't have to sit in recliner if you don't want to. And then the other end, I mean, I do like the IMAX. They've got Interstellar showing there right now. Like that's an incredible movie. I know, it's an incredible movie.
That's one of those. I saw that one 4 times.
Yeah. I would see it a 5th easily on the big screen. But then I also like that Cinematheque room in Vilas Hall where it's like it's pretty small. You're not allowed to bring food and drink in, but it's like you're going to be in there with like hardcore movie fans, like whatever it is, whether it's a black and white movie from the 30s or like an experimental movie from the 60s. Like these are hardcore cinephiles. And so it's always really fun to see a movie with an audience that's into it.
Yeah. It's so true with the Cinematheque. I feel like it's dedication too, because there are no recliner chairs in that auditorium.
And you can't, like I said, you can't bring food or drink. And like, I want popcorn so badly when I'm seeing a movie in there because I can't have it. Yeah.
And just truly some of the most special, it's a curated selection, the Cinematheque. Of course, you know, the other ones are the biggest, you know, the box hits and that sort of thing. But there are film experts who are deciding, you know, what is a really special sorts of screenings and old like archive films, things that you just really can't access in other places.
Yeah, it's a really good mix of like they have a great archive and they have to bring in classic films, often restored prints, often on film, which you don't often see anymore. It's usually digital. But then they'll also show movies that are brand new that wouldn't have played on Madison movie screens otherwise because they're too small or too odd, I guess, for the big theaters. And then sometimes they just have crowd pleasers because they know people will want to go see, like they had Speed showing this summer with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, and that was a full house. So, and they also bring in filmmakers. That's another great thing when they'll bring in the filmmaker to kind of like the film festival to talk about it before or afterwards. And that's a really special resource and definitely people should check it out.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Of course, I was like going to the university and trying to kind of taking some graduate courses and trying to be around these filmies and suck in the knowledge. But I remember when they brought the film director Alexander Payne, who did Sideways. And first of all, it was, you know, just up on the queue, whatever. Like when someone talks about Merlot, I think about like they just bring like really special talent through. So I love that we love the Cinematheque, and they have season like you should go to their website and kind of check out, see what's they've got coming up, and it's free. Who doesn't like a free movie?
There you go. That's it. I didn't even say that. They're free. I mean, it's such a. I think you're right that a lot of people at the university know about it, but if you're off campus, you may not know about it. If you're a movie person, especially if you're downtown and you don't want, like I said, don't want to pack up and go to the suburbs, it's a great option.
I feel like it's a good, like, I don't know, maybe this is the first thing. It's a good date spot. I feel like it's, if you want to be, this is why I feel like, because they're like if you want to have an intellectual conversation, you want to be impressive, be like, oh, hello, Godard, whatever. I feel like I've literally never brought a date there. So maybe this is a horrible.
It's a good make or break date.
There we go.
Like if it goes well, you know it's going to go really well. And if it doesn't, yeah.
That's fair.
They should combine Letterboxd and Tinder somehow so that you get your movie recs with your dating site together. That's actually, we just made $1 million right here.
We just made $1 million. Yeah. I'm in. Rob, I do want to ask you, because I can't believe you. So you see 3 a week. Do you ride solo? Are you going to the movies by yourself? I
often do. Yeah. I think because I go to so many different things. Sometimes I'll take my kids, we went and saw Wicked together with my 2 daughters. My wife and I'll go once in a while, but she's also really busy. And it's just sometimes easier to just go like, oh, I got 2 hours to spare. I'm going to go now rather than wait. And I honestly, like, going to the movies by yourself is kind of the best because, like, you don't feel that, like you said about being on a date, you don't feel that pressure like, oh, I hope this person likes it because I picked it out. It's like, you just get in there lights go down, it's all up to you. So I do really enjoy solo movie going as well. Yeah.
It's peak.
Yeah.
I think it's a peak experience. So if you're out there, I heard some radio morning program, where people are talking about everyday life things. And someone was going on about how important it is to take self-care. And people take yourself out on a date. That's how I feel. I'm loving myself when I go to the movies by myself.
Yeah.
It's me, self-care time.
Don't wait for other people to give you permission to do the thing that you want to do. That's a good rule of thumb all across life. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we've given life advice, let's keep on the advice.
This is getting deep. Yeah.
Yeah, but movies are such a solace. But I want to hear your recommendations, Rob. And you've already actually tossed a couple out there. What are some good holiday movie recommendations for folks who want to take their family out or take themselves out to go see a movie?
Let's see. I saw Gladiator 2, which I thought was good. It was sort of exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is guys in sandals, beheading each other. Yeah. Yeah. Well, although Denzel Washington is fantastic in it, and he plays, and he will probably get an Oscar nomination out of that. So I recommend that for the older crowd. We actually saw that on Thanksgiving, and it was a great time.
Why for the older crowd?
Well, because there's a lot of beheadings in it, and maybe your kids are into that, but it's an R-rated movie, so
that's what you mean.
That's I'm not telling you how to raise your kids. If that's what they like, go for it. Yeah. Of course. Wicked is the big movie out there, and I don't think I liked it as much as you. Well, I'm sure I didn't because I only saw it once. I thought it was a little long, especially for the first half.
It was.
But I know it's such a powerful experience for people. And I agree with that. The two actresses, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, are phenomenal. They're so great together and separately. And, when those songs hit, it's just incredible. To me, there was a little too much time between those moments.
Rob, we're on the exact same page.
Okay,
this is what happened. I watched it and I actually felt bad because the last thing I said was when it ended, I was like, well, that last scene just made up for the whole movie.
Right.
And I felt bad saying that. And so I went the next morning by myself to see it again. But I was also a little tired from Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I was a little sleepy. And for me, there's so much to it. I don't know if have you seen the musical?
I never have. No, this is the first time I've seen it. Yeah.
I just felt like I was cross-checking everything. It's just if you've read a book of a movie and then you go see the movie, there's so much detail and they really fleshed out the scenes. So that's why it is really long. There is no question. But then each time I see it, I just feel like I'm becoming a better person. I feel more powerful. I love
awesome.
The music. Yeah, I'm getting way too into it. But that's always fun.
No, that's
but
great.
I haven't seen Gladiator.
There's some movies where you like it the first time and then you love it the second time where it's sort of you get through it and you sort of get the story. And the second time you start noticing more things and the themes start resonating more. That's how I am with Wes Anderson movies. I like them the first time, but then as I rewatch them, I just appreciate them more and more.
Right. You understand oh, they made that choice because of this. And,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then so Christmas is in a couple of weeks and that's where a lot of big movies are coming out. There's the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet. I think he seems great as Bob Dylan. He does he sings in the movie and sounds a lot like him. He was just up in Minneapolis, I guess, hanging out with the University of Minnesota marching band I saw. So I think that looks really good. If you're into horror, there's Nosferatu is coming. It's sort of what is that? The first horror movie sort of, it's like a riff on Dracula.
Yeah. I'm way to go for it.
Right. Exactly. Merry Christmas. And then there's just a lot of I think movies that are going to be big on Oscar time, like Conclave, the one about the Cardinals electing the new Pope with Ray Fiennes. It looks like a very highbrow movie. It's actually a lot of fun, surprisingly. It's almost like a thriller. So I would recommend that one to people who think, I'm not going to see a movie about them electing the new Pope. It's actually a lot of fun.
How about the other Oscar bait, Moana 2?
I haven't seen that one. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. No, I just I'm looking forward to it. It's coming.
The first one was really good. I'm in the situation as a parent where the first movie hits where my kids are perfect age for it. And by the time the sequel comes around, they've aged out of it. And it's well, do I go see it by myself or do it, or do I watch it on Disney Plus? Yeah. But the first one was great. I mean, we really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it with my grandma, and I don't think she was as like into it as I was, but I was like, this might be truly one of my favorite Pixar's that they've done. Of course, they always nail it, but those are great recommendations. People, have a solid lineup. The Bob Dylan one, The Complete Unknown. I remember seeing the trailer. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. But you've seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
No, so
I'll
see it.
out.
It's coming out. I think Christmas Day. Like that's such a big movie release day. There's like 4 or 5 things coming out, and
nothing screams Christmas like Bob Dylan.
Well, that's the thing. They're never Christmassy movies. Like they put out Christmas movies in November, and then by December they're like, people are sick of Christmas. They can just go see Bob Dylan and a vampire, and they'll be happy.
Well, what are the best holiday movies?
Oh, well, I go back to It's a Wonderful Life every year. Like I watch it. I've watched it every year for probably 30 years, and I find something new in it. That's a classic one where every time I watch it, I find something new in it. I love that movie. I really like Elf. I think Will Ferrell, that's like an all-time performance. Nobody else could have done it the way he does. I'm wearing a pair of Elf socks right now, but I won't show them to you. But
I believe you.
Yeah. And I'm also really appreciative they never did a sequel. Like, because that's the kind of movie that I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. It's a huge hit to do a second one. And I'm glad they just left it one and done.
That's fair.
Those are big ones. If you want something darker, there's a movie from the 2005 called The Ice Harvest with John Cusack, which is like a noir Christmas movie.
Oh.
I don't even know if it's on streaming, but if you ever track that one down, it's a lot. It's a really, really good movie. It's and really cynical. Like if you don't like Christmas, that's the movie for you.
It just made me think of Tales of the Crypt. Do you remember that TV show?
Yeah.
there was definitely a Christmas special
that
I'm
has
sure. Scarred me.
Right.
Yeah. With someone dressed as Santa who's definitely not Santa, and it gets horrifying.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, okay, so it seems like our theater scene is bustling. The next curiosity is like, will we have a movie theater downtown in the next whenever decade?
Yeah. All I would say is there's a lot of movie fans in Madison, and someday some smart person is going to capitalize on it and put a really nice theater downtown. That's my prediction.
And it's not going to be us. It won't.
No, apparently not. We'd planned to win the lottery and do that, but so far that plan has not come through.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it does, that would be quite the place.
Yeah.
Rob, super appreciate you. Thank you for bringing your movie prowess and recommendations and giving us the scoop on Madison's movie scene. Really appreciate it.
It's great talking to you about movies, Bianca.
That's Rob Thomas, our newsletter editor and local film critic. If you want to check out his writing about movies and culture, he's got a Substack called Not That Rob Thomas, and we've got that linked in our show notes. That's all for today, here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin. If you enjoyed the show, why don't you share this episode with the film buff in your life? All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care.